connect from within. And it's woo woo time, where we connect our woo woo into our mundane living. I feel a bit woo woo, Angela. I'm like, woo, not that kind of woo. I'm like the other kind of woo. So, hi, this is Sylvia, Colorful Foresight, and here we have Dance with Angela.
Hi, Sylvia. Long time. I feel like I haven't seen you for months.
I know. It's probably because we were seeing each other at the, one time a week, or we were doing more of the videos. So this is part 2 of what video I did last week, which is us as human being with intuition versus political psychic, and which Angela saw. So we're going to go over that. So basically, I was saying, because what happened is a lot of the political psychics we know, like Linda G and them, they all were seeing, Biden for the next term. I mean, there was a little different variation for each person, but what happened is all about interpretation.
Yep.
And it's funny because it also followed with where I would like the energy's odd, because when there was the former guy, number 45, who had that attempted assassination, I felt it was staged, and they all said no. So, and I did a live with Allie from Heart and Soul Connection. She felt the same. So, being that they are expert and I respect them, it's not that I'm saying I'm any less than, but they've been doing for 25 plus years. You have to give validity to the good psychic, like Mel that did murder cases. Linda G been doing for a long time. She read me. She was on the ball. Sterling was really good when people were saying Hillary was going to win. He was one of the few that said that it was going to be Trump at that time. So I'm like, something off here. I'm like, what's the lesson? So the lesson is, my channel is about intuition. So everybody has intuition, but not everybody is like psychic to the level of like the Mel Dor and the Linda G and all that. And it's not to put it down. We have like their time. I'm so on it, but they're the difference. And the problem is, people think you have to be their level, but in actuality, we're using our intuition all the time, and we need to be doing this, especially as we continue with AI. We have to follow our intuition more and more. It's just awareness, but also the reason why I'm saying that, 'cause a lot of people got mad at those psychic and they attacked them. I already had 7 people that left because
Very rude.
a
Very
small channel.
disrespectful. Yeah. That's very rude. That really hurts me, actually. It's so rude.
But I was thinking, those are the people that need to learn about intuition, because the majority of us understood, because we're a student of
divine, yeah.
spirituality. Like you and I are into intuition. We've done cards, things like that. So if you're a student, or you would know that there are probabilities, things change. You go by, if they're 85% and above, that's amazing. You have free will. It's all about interpretation. So all those people that left, first of all, they're afraid. You're like, oh my God, they were wrong. So they freak out, or they really need to work on their intuition. Those are the people that really they could understand the psychic better. So that's why part 2 of this video, to understand political psychic better, now consciousness. And, we have a avatar that we follow named Sri Bhagavan. And one of his quotes always been, there is seeing and there's no sayer.
No, seer.
Right. Seer. So that would confuse me, because I know they are mystics, but for them, what they mean by that is they're now the moment even though there is certain things that are faded and things like that, but for the most part, we are creating in the moment. So they're seeing, something like that. So obviously right now they needed Kamala now, the universe, versus later. But then, it's funny, I'm like, I haven't seen any political psychic that said, he was going to leave now and hand it over later. Suddenly, I see these other psychics that I used to watch that with the receipt, they will show that old video from a year ago, 4 months ago, where they say I see
Last
Biden
year.
beforehand.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but I was on the train with, but I was seeing Biden, and whatever. So, the point is, we're dealing with the now consciousness, and to understand political psychic better, you got to work on your intuition so you understand how these things work. Everybody is intuitive. Some people are more gifted in a sense that they have a life path, like Linda G, where they have to be extra or you work at it. So, why is this important? So, at one point in the other video, this one, part one, which Angela saw, the part that she liked is where I said, if everybody wanted to be psychic, what other roles would there be in life? You need plumbers, you need doctors. I didn't say that, whatever order. You need mothers, you need farmers, all with intuition. And this is what Angela liked about it. She shared that story about your doctor and stuff.
Yes, because a lot of people, including me, have negative perceptions of traditional doctors because my mum in 1992 was abused by the medical system and died from a very aggressive cancer. Fast forward 20 years later, or 30, almost 30 years later, I got a cancer, and I'm at the mercy of these doctors saving my life in the very same hospital where my mum didn't survive. So that was the irony. I'm like being wheeled into the hospital, and I'm thinking, Holy Mary, whatever gods are out there, I'm praying to every single thing. But I was able to see, talking about the seer, I was in the middle of seeing, oh my God, I'm here with this very negative perception about these doctors. So I prayed my little patooties off. And what happened was the doctors started to do choices in my surgery, and I was unconscious. So keep in mind, I was unconscious for many parts of these surgeries, and also right before I had the surgery, where my family had to make choices, and my family, also my friends, my partner and my friend were there a lot, and they had to be told the story, say your last words to this person because they might not live. And I got those stories later. But in the stories, part of the story was the doctor made these decisions, these intuitive judgment calls. And one of them was the surgeon that's like, no, we're going to do this. I was about to die. And they said, say goodbye. And they said, no, we're going to do the surgery and we're going to succeed. So I get these stories. Remember, I'm unconscious, but later, and I'm seeing, there's a seeing, but no seer. I'm seeing like I was there because I was out unconsciously. But I'm seeing, oh my God, if that doctor didn't make that choice, I'd be dead. I'd be gone. And my partner and my friends tell me that. Like that he just had this mission. He was going to go in. He knew you were going to survive, and he did it. And that was what started to me after the fact. I got to see it. But during the hospital, many, many times the doctors, also different doctors, because I had 20 doctors more. I had the student doctors, I had the head doctors. All the time they had to make judgment calls like this, Sylvia. Bang, bam, bam. And I was seeing that was their intuition. And another big doctor, she was kind of a head doctor in oncology, because there was nothing after the surgery that was going to keep me alive because the cancer was so aggressive. And I have a genetic difference in my cells, a family genetic trait that allows cancer to multiply. And then, so she went, well, we're going to use this immunotherapy, which nobody had done for my cancer. I had to pay out of pocket, yes. But the hospital, she was so like in her intuition. She had read the papers. She had assumed I had this genetic trait, which we hadn't done the testing for. Everything was on the fly with my cancer and with my staying alive. And I saw them make these judgment calls. And that day, that head doctor sent one of her other doctors to tell me about this new immunotherapy drug. And I was so high on painkillers and other drugs. But I'm in the hospital and he's telling me and my family about this new drug. And I knew it came from the head doctor, her idea. And I just went, I've got a credit card. And in my hand, because I was hallucinating, I thought I had my credit card. But I could see that was the right path. And I could see she, the head oncologist, had tuned in intuitively, not psychically, intuitively, which you and I've talked about before. There is a difference. And I think now, this is in this video, one of the tricks. Like we pick up psychic energy all the time, which isn't in the now. It is in the now, but
Right.
it's not intuitive. Intuitive is what Sterling talks about, that Akashic record thing. And people are beating Sterling up about that. Somehow he didn't read the Akashic records right. But let's sort of beat that one out a bit too. But intuitively in the now, that doctor was like, we're going to keep this woman alive, because my spirit guides were obviously communicating with her to keep me alive, because I wanted to get out of Dodge. I was like, nah, this planet, forget it, I'm done. My body's crap. I'm not coming back to that body. No, I was sort of out hallucinating between realms a bit, saying, trying to get out. And then they told me no. And I was a bit like, are you kidding? Oh, okay. But the doctor, they were like somehow getting these downloads. And in that moment, when I saw the option of the immunotherapy, I also went, yes, we can pay for this, because my family were sort of worried about having to pay and worried about this new drug. What if it killed me as well? What if it gave me side effects? They tell you all the nasty stuff. But I was like, yeah, that doctor's very clued in to some people that want to keep me alive.
Right.
For some reason, I don't know why, but they want to keep me alive here on this plane. And yeah, that was incredible. And now, even now, my family who are not into all this woo-woo, Sylvia, they see that the doctors were tuning into something, and they know, oh yeah, they really wanted to
And
like
you've
keep.
been back since, right? Because that must be very validating. Like you went back since, and they see you all healthy and alive years later.
Yeah, and my surgeon, he loves talking to me. We have a chat and we
Yeah.
chat, because all of his other patients, they don't have this gift that we have.
Yeah.
And they come in and they're like facing cancer and they're really sort of sad. Sometimes they attack him.
Right.
He's saving people's lives every day.
And that's
And
like the political psychic. We're talking about the good ones because there's a lot of fakes out there. There's a lot of like half-assed one. So that's the point of the video, to understand political psychic better. First of all, when it's scary when it the prediction doesn't happen, and especially when there were so many that were doing the same thing. Which I told you later on, I start seeing some others that felt, but they were attacked too. Like the one that said a year ago, or it's a cancer culture thing, but it could happen on any side, and have. But we're working on the Democrat liberal aspect too. But I feel that it again, Sterling thought that the VP were going to change. Well, the VP is going to change because she's working on being a president, so they're going to be new VP. You know, for this time, was never that to me never felt right. But Sterling was like, Biden's going to win, and they're going to change the VP now. And then Linda G was like, no, it's going to be Biden. And then Kamala going to say he's going to win, and then hand it over. A lot of people saw the handing over, and it did happen just steps sooner. Some people say a timeline shift. Whatever. My thing is, I think it was to protect them from knowing. Also, there are people who are not for the light that watch the political psychic. Maybe better off not to tell. You know what I mean? So
maybe
that
Kamala's got spirit guides that
no,
like
they're like, don't say
started
it's gonna
for
happen now.
knowing.
This
Yeah.
is next term. So it's something the universe is protecting us. So that's why I'm like the now consciousness. Um, Everybody's learning about this idea of there is seeing but no sayer. Even though there are mystics who can see the future, Sir Amma Bhagavan, we at the majority who are intuitive, everybody are the seeing. And there's more, maybe less of that they could see the future. But even then, when they see the future and they're pretty accurate, which we know them, still it could change, you know? So we see that in our organization we belong to. They talk about the probability, but yada, yada, yada. So, Fatima, what are you hearing from listening to this? So, I thought that's important to tell you that those people attacking, they need to work or have this idea that they're intuitive. So they could see or understand, like most of us, I think here, were like, oh, okay, something happened, but we didn't attack them. And honestly, if I've been watching some of those psychics I saw later, like this week, the last 3 days that were saying a year ago, 4 months ago, that they saw Biden step down, I wouldn't attack them, but I would be like giving them a side eye. So that was a lesson for me. You know what I mean? And also because I was not seeing that. I was seeing that he was going to make it to the next thing. And but you know what's funny? You ever heard of the Mandela effect? The Mandela effect is a term where some people um, they thought it was a certain way, but then it ended up being something else. So the Mandela is that some people remember. I forget his first name, the African leader that
Nelson.
they thought he
Nelson.
died in the 90s or whatever, 80s, but he didn't die. And another one in case it's like spelling, like Ed McMahon, I remember used to do, he used to do like the contest thing. But when you look up on it, publishing clearing, I always remember Ed McMahon doing it. But when you look it up, there's no him in there. And I remember I was following this woman named Cynthia Larson back in the 90s. She talked about reality shifts. She didn't really talk about Mandela effect, but I found myself 20 years later looking up on her, having and seeing that she talked about the Mandela effect and like the idea of it. You have to look it up. Let me see Mandela effect. They have tons of videos about it. Um, then I started having my own, like 2 years ago, where I saw this the actors, the two of them, that I thought they died, but they didn't. And I remember the Pacific scene on TV that they died, da 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 da. And I told her, I said, I've been following you for a long time, but I'm finally going back in your life. And I remember seeing these stories, about these people and yada, yada, yada. So I feel like there was a possibility that the former guy, I know I'm jumping around, would have been assassinated, and then he would have became a martyr, and that would have caused a lot of chaos. So he ended up not being assassinated, even though they now say it was the teleprompter that hit his ear wasn't a bullet. Could with the a with that kind of gun, he would blow your ear off. But he just
Mhm.
played into the shooting thing, and I think the reason why a lot of the psychic we follow are not seeing that it was staged and you mentioned it that you felt it. Some other people.
But it's who staged it,
It,
because I wanted to address that,
well,
Sylvia. I don't
that's
think
why
it
I
was
can't prove it.
people. I
My
wanted
thing
to,
is,
I
I
wa
don't think he knew, but he
no,
had
he
people that
didn't.
don't want him around. They might want to replace him with like JD Vance and things like that. So, he might be, you know what I mean? It's stuff like that. So I would,
But I just want to address that because I think this is where you and I might differ about
okay,
the staging part. I don't think we see it the same. Because for me, it's like, because of my cancer and all of the miracles, like
yeah,
there was a stream of miracles constantly.
right,
Things were dropping out of my body and then something would happen and somebody would help me. It was every single day. Who orchestrated those miracles? Like even it's not just that I could live or die. Every day there was a disaster happening in my body and there were things happening to help me. Even little stupid things like my girlfriend from school came. We went to school 40 years ago or so.
right,
And I was busting to get a bedpan because I couldn't walk. And she just turned up and she just knew where to get that bedpan within seconds. And I was about to lose it and damage the whole bed.
right,
And then she just turned up right at that minute. Like, so many micro things happened that still to this day I remember them, but it was all in a drug haze. So it was kind of like, I don't know about you, but I used to do a few substances, and I remember things happening synchronistically. That happened all the time. Of course, I had things that didn't happen synchronistically too, but it was so many that our life guides can make things happen for us that are not humans setting up conspiracies. Like, what are the chances that his ear gets grazed like that, and at a rally like that, that he, if it is shrapnel or whatever it is, what are the chances? Who is setting up the staging of the event? For me, it's more the life guides, these other divine beings. It's not necessarily the humans, because
Mm.
in the end, in 1,000 years'
I
time,
can see what you mean. Yeah.
I don't care if there was a second shooter, or if there was this or this or this, or the young boy, man, young adult man who was deranged and mentally unwell. I don't care about those details in 1,000 years. If you go to big picture, who cares, right?
Right.
Why are our life guides giving us this image of Trump almost being assassinated and then Biden stepping down within 2 weeks? Two of our old leaders, the heads of our country, having their heads cut off, which is the star Algol, right? The
Well, that's
astrology.
cool. I love it.
Yeah. Because I
Yeah.
was watching the star Algol, which is a very demonic star. It represents the head of Medusa, and Heracles in the myth cuts off the head. So the ear of a head, and then the other head gets, well, move on, old grandpa,
Mm-hmm.
within 2 weeks, right? That is what is significant for the collective. It doesn't matter, like in 1,000 years' time, they're going to be remembering these two old guys got demoted, and these young people, this 20-year-old guy on a roof, unsuspectingly, is trying to get some attention because the shooter was looking for fame and something. We don't know what, but he's trying to take out the old dude. And then the old grandpa Joe is moved on. And this is the energies of our times. So in 1,000 years, 100 years, we're not going to remember all of this. Is there a second shooter? Is there a blah? Is there a blah? That's psychic energy. Intuitively, what is divine trying to get you to see? For my hospital visit, they wanted me to see, Angela, you want to take yourself out. You want to get out of Dodge. And, well, while I was unconscious, trying to get out of this plane, they're like, no, forget it, lady. You've got to go back and finish what you came for. And then when I come back, there's this oncologist that gets this download. Let's give her this drug. We're going to keep her alive. And it's never been done before, but we're going to do it. And I'm like, I've got a credit card. I can pay.
No,
Okay.
but it's really good because it goes to show everybody's intuitive, and you don't even have to be into the woo woo. It's happening anyway. Everybody, more or less, you're using your intuition. People have gut feeling. They have a hunch. Like you said, synchronicity, the bigger picture, everything. It's just happening. The now consciousness. So again, going back to a lot of those people attacking those psychic, they don't do the intuition work.
And the psychics are picking up on the details.
Yeah.
So I saw another, my partner showed me a video of a young woman who just went, this is very suspicious, the
Right.
angle of the bullets. And she was just using common sense.
Right. Common
Okay,
sense.
common sense.
Yeah.
Psychics also pick up a lot of that stuff. They get
Right.
stuck in the details, which can actually cloud their vision. And one of the things with Linda G, love her
That's
to
true.
bits, like,
I know.
but she often rereads.
Right.
Look, rule number one, when I was in 1998 obsessing over my tarot cards, doing readings upon readings because I didn't like myself and I was trying to find out how to solve that problem, I got the same cards. And what was it? Ten of Swords. You know how depressing it is after 6 months when you're doing readings and you just get Ten of Swords all the time? Do you think I liked myself better? No, I was just reaffirming, talking about the now, I was reaffirming my self-dislike and my self-distrust, okay? And myself, oh, well, you're never going to get out of this situation. So psychic energy can often do damage. And Linda, love it a bits, but she rereads. She gets a message 3 years ago about what's going to happen. And then she's rereading and she picks up a lot of the psychic stuff. And then she gets other feelings. Her feelings start to come in and start to give different readings. So that can be one of the things, like people they project their emotions and she's picking that up.
Yeah,
And
but she's aware. She's aware. Yeah, but
here,
the other one, they do that too. Yeah, yeah. No, but like, no, I'm just so grateful for them.
yeah,
they're keeping me calm, and they're going right to the next energy. And because they are very confident in their work,
yeah,
they just said, "Look, sorry, it's just about interpretation. That's all it is." They didn't have to like somebody like me who not as confident. I would probably explain myself more, but I don't need to explain myself. I saw what I saw as an intuitive person who gets psychic hit. Okay, so actually, after all that, seeing what they went through, I felt better. I'm like, okay, maybe this is the way the universe telling me. Just because they say it this way, I shouldn't like doubt my insight. Like I felt differently than what they were seeing, things like that. But yeah,
can I
so
can
to
I
understand
share
political psychic better, people
can
have
I
the
share
one that
something?
what?
Can I share something about that? You looking at how they got attacked and then going, maybe I should trust myself better.
Yeah,
Can
go
I
ahead.
share something on that?
Yeah, because that had to do with the viewers that are watching.
Because if we look at the old energies of our times, the old guys stepping aside or having their heads cut off so the new can come,
Hmm.
how does that happen in our lives? We often, with our parents or with maybe someone who we think is like better than us or more qualified, we
Right.
defer power to them. Do you get it? We defer power. Everybody's projecting on the old guys. They're going to win. They're going to fix our problems. They're going to lead us into this making the world better, whatever. But we don't look at us. How are we going to make the world better?
Hmm.
And so with the psychics, we look at them as bastions of truth. And after this situation, we're like, well, maybe I should trust myself better. That's not deferring power. The head
Right.
of these people, like the head of state or the head of intelligence, we give our power to these people instead of looking at, well, where am I powerful? Where am I able to get psychic downloads? Maybe I should trust what I'm picking up. Maybe I should not give power to them, but you also shouldn't attack
Yeah,
them.
but at the same time, because we are students of intuition and all that, we didn't attack them because we know they're very good and we know that they are always the bigger picture. So the one that attacked those political psychics, the good one, those are the one, as I said, I'm saying it over and over, are the one they need to work on their intuition. Because we went,
So
oh, you know what I
I've got
mean?
a question for you about those ones that you're trying to get. What if they play a role about showing us how our negative side, our suffering state, wants to blame others? What if that's their role in the bigger picture?
Yeah. The
And my
fear is
second
you don't have
question,
control. Sometimes we just don't
the
have
fear
control about
is,
these bigger
yeah,
pictures. I was telling you earlier in the video that if I have seen those psychics, which I saw the last 2 to 3 days, the one that they were saying that Biden was going to step down now versus later, I wouldn't be mad at them, but I would have been like giving them a side eye.
and side eye means
Oh,
like
you know what I mean?
what?
So,
What side eye mean? I'm not sure what you
side
mean.
eye,
That's like,
yeah,
you're a
right, yeah, whatever. You don't know what you're
whatever.
talking about,
You
you know,
put them down.
right.
Okay.
And meanwhile, they're accurate. And probably nobody's really wrong, I think, even like Linda G and them, because they all saw it. Like, Sterling saw a change of VP, which technically it is a change of VP.
Yeah.
Kamala's not working to be a VP. Also, they're handing over. A lot of people saw it. It's happening now versus later. But it's also maybe I said could have been a protesting
A
protection.
protection.
'Cause who are watching all these sites? It could be the bad guys as well. So they might have done that
Right.
action, make it happen. Because it was like a tower moment for everybody. It was like a chalk. It was like a chess piece, like a massive chess piece. But going
Yeah.
back to the now consciousness, yeah, those doctors that you mentioned, they really were in the moment. Their divine was coming through, and your divine was working with them
With them.
and all that.
And
And this
all I
is
did
an
was
everyday
say,
thing.
help.
It's an
I have a
everyday thing.
question for you
Okay.
about, you said you want to help those people who are attacking, and I want to know why you want to help them connect to their intuition. Why is that important? Why do you think that's important to help them connect to their intuition? Those people who are attacking psychics and
I get, it's not going to really change their mind, but just to bring awareness that, like you were talking about the power thing, we're giving too much power. Wonderful they are and awesome the other are, whether it's psychic leaders or whatever. And I'm not going to assume I know it. I don't know. It's just, you know what? Let me ask the card. Maybe they'll give me
okay.
clarity. Let's see what's that about.
Because for me, I mean, because we're students of the divine and working with in alignment with the divine, whenever you attack someone, that energy comes back to you. So whatever, any thoughts, words, or deeds can create negative energy, negative karma, if you want to use that word, but it will come back to you whenever you attack anyone. So we're very aware of that.
Yeah.
And like even in my family, I'm Sicilian, so I've seen it in the now consciousness moment. I go, me, and then that person starts saying negative things back to me. And I'm talking like, I'm saying it not in front of their face. I'm just saying it in the room, like having a whinge. And then that person starts saying negative things to me. And I'm like, okay, I'll stop saying negative stuff because it comes back to me straight away now. I can't avoid it.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. So it said move beyond intention to belief. So you asked me why I would want to tell. So it might be move beyond intention to belief. So if it's all about me, move beyond intention to belief. It might be that I want so bad to be like, those guys were right. And you're not listening to your intuition. So you better get your intuition order. Meanwhile, they're just going to do what they're going to do. And they're
You
going to
better
learn
get your
however they're going
intuition
to
in
learn.
order. I like
I
that.
got to trust myself, Maybe there's a fear there somewhere. And then ambush. Oh, I just ambush fear with your ferocious dream.
Oh, that's
No,
so
I guess
cool.
with the fear thing somewhere.
So what's your ferocious dream about this now consciousness? What's that? Can you pick
It's
cards?
so, it's been an odd 2 weeks. It's like me watching the political psychic, and I'm seeing that being sage, and they're all saying my favorite people that I've been following 7 to 4 years. And normally I could say, oh, I'm wrong, not a big deal, there, but I couldn't shake it. So I'm like, and I'm like that kind of threw me off. And then this thing with Joe Biden, so it's like we're hitting into that uncomfortable unknown, maybe. It's a fear thing. So, um, but I think at the end of the other video I mentioned, part one, at the end, it was like the universe. The universe knows what they're doing. It's not the people. It's the universe. Like you talked about earlier, the bigger picture. Like the details don't matter. It's the bigger picture. Why? So, yeah, it's the protecting. It's the protection. That's why I want that people get. Don't attack others what you don't understand and fear. That including me being wrong, or me not trusting in myself, or me needing to learn to trust myself regardless. Ace of Sword with how we use our intellect. So we have to use common sense too, not just our intuition. It's a team thing. And let's see. It's working. We're just working in progress. Life is a journey, and just like anything, we're learning about our skills, even stolen in them, like the idea about interpretation, because they're fairly. accurate, not 100%, but they were learning about interpretation.
Yeah.
So, you know, yeah. So again, still like there's this idea that you need plumbers, that plumbers have intuition, mothers have intuition. We do not everybody meant to be a psychic per se. We're all using our intuition, all across the board. Life is like that. You know, I don't know. That's what's just coming to me.
And the ferocious dream, that now consciousness,
That's
what
just
is it?
fear.
What does it mean in the moment, in the now,
Yeah.
that we're connecting to? We're not getting stuck in the details.
Orphan had intuition.
Orphans.
Everybody has intuition.
Orphans. Orphans have intuition, but we also have another teaching from the avatars. It's like humanity without a connection to the divine is like an orphan. So for me in the hospital, if I didn't talk to the divine every millisecond, I wouldn't have made it. And that's just plain fact. Because everybody who saw me there, they were like, I don't know how you got through it. Well, I was talking to the divine.
And you know what? Speaking of the now conscious, Angela shared earlier about her process. She was like basically dying, and her doctors using the intuition. You don't have to be woo woo or into the. Everybody has it. It's a little different than a psychic per se. We have psychic hit, but a little bit different. Um, saved her life. And during that time when she was very sick, I was very furious with the divine that we both share. We follow Sri Amma Bhagavan and the Great Compassion Light. And they kept telling me, your job is to not worry, and your job is to see her thriving and like alive with her partner that she had. I mean, that's not the word, but and I believed it. It wasn't like I didn't feel like it was wishful thinking kind of thing. I felt like, oh, she's gonna make it, and she did. And she had other people that kind of had a similar story. So that's the power of now consciousness, and that's how it is when it comes to political psychic. The people who may not understand or just in their fear attacking them, but this is about the bigger picture of things. Intuition is feeling,
Feeling. Psychic
psychic
is
is
insight.
insight.
So let's go into, because I'm seeing also a lot of people, because they're in fear, they're saying to psychics and people like you and me, like, how do we manifest that new reality, that belief? You said when you saw me in hospital and your guide said, you see her thriving and happy and with her partner having a great life. Don't fall into your fear, blah, blah. Because some people really want to know, is that the now consciousness that you're talking about? You see the reality, not just wishful thinking, but you actually see the solution. Can you describe what that is, that now consciousness that you're talking about, like that piece of
Well,
manifesting
it
the
didn't feel like
timeline?
wishful thinking because sometimes, want to manifest something so bad and it just doesn't happen, maybe because
Yeah.
not meant to be or whatever. But then there are times when it just feels like, oh, this is a psychic hit versus like a wishful thinking or something. I was just very relieved, but it really taught me, like, even right now, I was telling Angela before, behind the scene, I'm having challenges emotionally, especially not only in my life, but working with my mom. And after doing this video, it's going to help me to focus on the now consciousness of seeing my mom and I in a healthier state, even though it hadn't been that way. So, uh, let's see, intuition and potential energy, psychic
Potential
motion
energy.
energy. Let's see what that looked like in a card, in a tarot card.
Yeah, because Stephen, I'm really interested in that potential energy, because
Yeah.
this is where we get quantum. But like,
So,
because now,
yeah, let's do two cards. We're going to do the card for intuition potential. Because maybe they'll give us a visual that might help us. Because this is like intellectual, we got to feel into it. Intuition potential energy, psychic motion energy. So show us what intuition is potential energy. Okay.
because I feel like, I think that now consciousness is trying to get us into the new era, the new age, and
Emotion
what's
energy.
happened with those two old leaders in the USA is that it's making us feel like,
And now
what do you want now? What do you want? What is that potential? I mean, people are going to go on and on and on and on about the last 2 weeks in the media, but that's all just
so the Knight of Wand is the energy thing. That the intuition potential energy. Potential. That the feeling. You remember you said intuition, like the wand is the feeling energy. So kind of like when I had to feel into the vision I had of you and your partner. And then psychic motion energy. Well, two different vibes. You got the judgment card.
ooh, wow.
So psychic motion energy. So judgment is like a bigger picture thing, depending on a lot of factor kind of vibe.
What you sow, you will receive.
Yeah, so all those psychic, political psychic, kind of like they were they were connected to that Caxis record, which had it already happened, but it may be just the interpretation or a protection that it wasn't meant to be known, and things like that. So then we have the now energy. Interesting. The Nine of Wands, which is like defense,
Mm.
guarding. So let's see, now consciousness. So I feel like maybe we're too attached to our
Oh,
beliefs and things like that. We're too attached. Now consciousness is really more in flow. We're like holding on to it, guarding, and we have to be more in flow,
oh my.
right? Maybe.
Wow, that's touching my brain in the back. Wow. Oh, I love that.
One card summed them both up. Two coins. Yeah, just the potential. So much going on. I
I'd
mean,
love you to
I'm
talk more
hoping the
about
universe
now
is just
consciousness.
protecting humanity. With
Yeah,
what's going on.
yeah, because that's really hitting me. I don't know, because I do the dance classes and I'm in
It's
the
true, like
now.
controlling
Yeah.
the now consciousness. We want to make it like this, especially if you do a political psychic. You don't want to be wrong. Thank God they're um they're confident. But if you're not confident in your gift, you can really want to hold it on or defend yourself. Maybe there's a part of me that have that, but we can't hold on to it. We can't hold on to the vision. Even going back to, even though certain things already happened or are set in stone, there is seeing but no sayer.
Seer.
Now consciousness, kind of, we're creating.
Yeah.
This is all
Wow.
intellectual. It's all intellectual stuff that we're talking here. But it's nice to talk about,
I'm feeling it though, Sylvia. The back of my head's like going like boom, boom, boom,
right?
boom. Yeah.
It's
That
like
nine
a
of
whole now
wands.
consciousness. Okay, let's show us what the now consciousness look like when it's
Yeah.
utilized,
In the
when we
flow
really
with the
hit the nine.
universe.
Yeah, because we want to hold on to believe or things like that. What the result or end result. So the now consciousness is like the Six of Cups. Hmm. I guess like a child. You know how the Six of Cups, like a child, they're really living in a moment.
Yeah.
They're manifestors until they get disappointed, and then they start getting all these like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. But as child, you're just free. Now there's nothing that making you be in guard because you've been hurt or you've been disappointed or you're egoed in a way or you have ideas that you want to hold on to, things like that. Let's see, what does Steven? So nice to
Yeah.
have Fatima Steven. We have in the
Yeah.
room.
Because my body is feeling stuff right now and I teach the
You're
dance.
feeling. By the way,
Yeah.
tell about your. I'm sorry we didn't say in the beginning. Tell about your.
Oh, no worries. I'll talk about actually what happened I do physical classes in person in Sydney, and last night we were talking about embodying our feelings because I teach people how to feel and be in relationship with each other in the class, and I use coaching questions when I have people there individually to feel what you're feeling. And my back of the head is really, that Nine of Wands or something just hit me really kinesthetically and spiritually too. Spirit's giving me something here, but And what Stephen shared about that potential energy is what I'm really trying to understand about. Yeah, the intuition controls the now energy. So spirit is constantly giving us
in the moment,
energy. When we can align with spirit, and
like
we
those
don't need,
doctors, they were in
yeah,
the moment.
we don't, the doctors didn't interpret. They just came into the room and went, we're going to do this. And my family went, oh, and I'm on drugs going, yeah, okay. Like, so it was real now. And I think because everything in my disease was so shocking, and so every day there was another disaster, we had to be in the now. And that's when the intuition was flying all the time. And like what Stephen's sharing about that psychic energy directs the intuit, like that's when we start to play with the energy and see how we can manifest in the physical world. And I think that's where we get some conflict in our belief system, which is that 9 of Wands, while my brain's being hit.
Right, and we're not doing this, the now consciousness, like a
Because we're
child.
like, if I do this choice, then there's a consequence and I'm going to suffer, or I'll have fear, like if I do
Or
that
I'm gonna
choice.
get hurt, or I'm
Yeah,
wrong,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or
And
how could it be that, like for me, it would have been like, well, how could Kamala come in now? Like I might have, it had to be after he's in. But look, she's doing well, more than we think, you know. And
yeah,
also all the psychic getting wrong, which they not really, because we're a student of intuition, so we understand. That's why we don't attack them. But it could have been a protection thing, not to say it, you know. So, all right, here we go. Two ascendants is a marriage of two in one flow. Oh, true ascendants.
so ascending means like your psychic and intuitive energies are in a flow. And I do that in the dance class with questions. And my student sort of taught me last night afterwards. I talked to one of the students and she was teaching me. We were in this flow of my work and how the coaching questions help
That's kind
people.
of like there's theme but no stayer.
Yeah. So actually it's a sharing. I think now consciousness for me, the most important from my hospital experience was a sharing with spirit. Like, because there was so many bad things going wrong, but I was constantly in communication with spirit. Even when I was on drugs in the surgery, I was constantly, even in the surgery, I was having mystical visions. I was unconscious and seeing stuff, and I'd come out of the surgery still on drugs and be like, oh my God, what happened? Thank you, spirit. And I was talking to spirit, giving a lot of thanks because they basically were helping the surgery. Not just the surgeon, they were coming in through the surgeon's hands. Sometimes they were doing other energetic surgery on
Well,
me.
you have to tell them you were praying for your divine, your choice of divine to go through the doctors. So
Yeah,
that's,
yeah, I do that. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's just my divine coming through the doctor, working with that person's guides, basically. So that the guides, my divine is working with their guides to make everything happen and help the doctor's intuition to get enhanced and guide their hands. And I had a couple of surgeries where the surgeon's hands literally saved my life. One of them had to get a blood clot that was going to go to my heart and kill me. And he had to get this little wire up a vein or artery, I think, to the heart. And they've got this machine that goes around the blood clot and dispels it. And I was conscious. I watched the surgery and had to breathe and hold my breath while they moved it inch by
Oh
inch.
my God.
I know, it was fun. And I couldn't breathe because my lungs were full of liquid and others than clots. So I could hardly breathe. And I had to breathe, hold my breath, couldn't hold my breath. It was really interesting surgery. But at the end, I was like, wow, your intuition, thank you. And he just sort of deflected it. He didn't take anything because he was in the now. He was just working with the psychic energy and in the flow. And he
Yeah,
was
you know
just,
what I like, because there is a lot of negative. Because it, I don't know, we have negativity toward medicine, and then you have like a shift of this idea. You saw it differently through that experience, but also now I'm seeing like how everybody's intuitive, and not everybody meant to be psychic. You know, just because you're, let's say you are very psychic, but you don't have to do that for a living. You're just a very psychic person. You might just want to be a painter or a lawyer or whatever. And because then we have everybody try to be psychic. Who's gonna do the plumbing? Who's gonna cook? Who's gonna farm? Da da da. So this idea, going back to understanding political psychic or even leaders, giving them too much power, and we have to go back to our intuition. It's all related somehow. So I wanted to see what card could represent this. Two ascendant in the marriage of two in one flow, which is the same, which is this. Three of Pentacle, Three of Coin, which is teamwork effort. It's the third equation, intuit, feeling, psychic, insight, marriage of opposite knowing.
So Stephen just put that up almost from my side when he put up that card.
And it's three here. So you have
happened sort of synchronistically.
You have intuition and potential energy, psychic motion energy, and then you have the marriage of true, which is the third part equation. Is feeling, psychic, insight, marriage of the opposite knowing. I'm not sure if I understand that. Do you? You understand that?
No, not exactly. Maybe Stephen can enlighten us more. And
please,
I'm just feeling it right now. I'm just allowing that.
Because he's so insightful. And here is the card of they're seeing but no stare. So she's just seeing. She visioning. Like the card is the person who visioned before they go out there and take action. But the three of wands. So they're seeing. So it doesn't have to be what?
What card is it? Can't see the card the name of the card.
It's the Two of Wands.
Two of Wands.
So remember, Two of Wands is the visionary. So they can see in a moment, but they're not there. They're not like the high priestess. They're just seeing the energy in the moment. I don't know. I'm just learning the card differently. And what is the Kundalini card? I got the World. Because the Kundalini, it means so much. You know, it's so mysterious. Has so many. The idea of what the Kundalini is about, ascension. It would be like the world, the universe, something that's very cosmic and even unknowable in a lot of cases. So
I teach that in the dance class. I teach because your body is actually a pole that's connected to the magnetic field of the center of our earth and goes to the central sun of our solar system, which then allows the Kundalini to rise. I don't talk about Kundalini in the class. I let you feel it. But basically that once you're in alignment with that vibration in yourself, everything flows. And that's why dance has been an ancient practice for people to connect to their divine since humanity started to become erect. Like we were like kind of more like our spine was parallel with the earth. But when we started to become erect, that's when the Kundalini energy started to really become in alignment with the direction of moving up towards our central sun. And dance was a form that the species started to use to connect to that natural alignment with the spirit self.
By the way, before we go further, tell about your dance thing coming up.
So I call it Dance for Joy, but it's really about that life force energy within us and connecting to our heart and how that relationship, it's a cultivation of who you are in your body, your spirit, and your soul. That might be the trifecta there. Yeah. And those classes I have online and in person in Sydney. And the online classes, of course, you're working with yourself and your own energy, your body's relationship to your energy field. And I use world dance. So I literally teach you how, for me, because I work from belly dance to samba and other folkloric dances, and I started to see this pattern. Our body, our human body, is a vessel for spirit, and our heart, when it opens up in that alignment to the aura, it's in world dance, in every world dance that I've done. So it's the same body, different world dances. So in the class,
now consciousness, you're really in the moment of now.
Yeah.
By the way, when did that start, and how How can they sign
I'm
up?
starting a new series of 10 classes this Sunday, 8 p.m. EST, and it's 10 o'clock in Australia the following day because I'm in Australia. Hello. And that's online on Zoom, and I've got Sylvia will put it in the description, a link
And
for
I'll put
the
it like within a half hour, so after.
yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I went to the first part. It was I end up being I end up sitting a lot for it. She had standing up, but I end up sitting because physically that's all I could do, and it was great. It was about movement. Each week I saw how it's becoming more flexible. You know, it's all movement. It's so important. Even the simplest thing is sitting on a chair doing movement. Now you're doing like the skin, like feeling into the skin. You have it on your YouTube channel, Dance for Joy, which is great. You could do that for especially for most physical ability. You could do that while you're sitting or you're standing. Very gentle and in the moment and loving your body and things like that. But going back to so check it out. So going back to Stephen, react for clarity. What he meant is the three-part equation: feeling, psychic, insight, marriage, the opposite, and it's about the pineal gland. So uh, God live in three house, tune on, tune being outer court, inner court, holy of holies. He knows too much. He's like really a student of tarot and things like that. So what I got, Stephen, is that the pineal gland could be. I would never look at this card, the pineal gland, but it's like an offering. The pineal gland is constantly offering you insight. Now, what are you going to do with it? It's a little different, I guess, than intuition or it's all the same. Intuition, psychic. What is it? Three-part equation: feeling, psychic, insight, marriage of opposite, knowing.
Knowing.
So it's all related. For some reason, just because we do spiritual work, we still got to use our physical common sense things. So I guess they're all related somehow.
I
Tantric
think
also.
I got it now. Intuit, feeling, psychic,
Right.
and knowing and insight. So insight is what results from that that feeling, and psychic and intuit results in the insight. So they work as an equation. That I think that's one of the things about attacking the psychics,
The political psychic, yeah.
the political psychics. They're showing us through their own journey that relationship of their intuition and feeling into the psychic energy, and they're giving us their insights. I watch a lot of astrologers, not just the psychics. And
You like Andre? I like Andre.
I do like Andre, but I've before Andre, I've watched a bunch of others like
Yeah.
Lada, Duncheva,
Mm.
Triffin, who does Vedic Babylonian stuff. He's really cool because Triffin's from Bulgaria, and he's kind of like, oh, the omens are really bad. Like he's like from ancient Greek kind of times where they used to give omens and stuff. So Triffin, so his interpretation sometimes can be quite dark, and he's got a really good way of sharing the information without judging it. And he's a really good teacher about listening, like reading what you see in the Babylonian texts, and then he gives his own feeling and flavor to it, and his insight part of the equation is pretty cool because he's not so much just going off the energies. He's going off, well, these were the predictions from thousands of years ago. So Triffin's really interesting. I always watch his monthlies with Lada. So those psychics look at more like macro energies, and I think one of the problems with psychic energies, we get too much in the moment of the dynamics of our emotions and
Oh, you
our
mean the detail?
judgments.
You mean the detail?
And the judgments, because a lot of the details in psychic energy is like, I don't like that person. Because I can tell you about the former guy, a lot of things I don't like. But I'm constantly observing my little, And I'm seeing, right, because that's our job when we work with the Golden Age movement. We have to see ourselves. And I'm seeing a lot of me not liking this former guy. I see it all the time. But then I laugh. He makes me laugh. He gives me actually like real belly laughs because some of the things he does, I just think, oh my God, how did you do that, man? You're like bizarre. And so there's things that I see in the psychic energy that I can easily go into judgment about the former guy, easily turn into a nasty little human being, easily turn into like a sarcastic person. So sarcasm is a negative energy, and he's helping me to see that part of myself and to not get stuck in it. That's a really big deal with the psychic energies. It can really keep you trapped in your judgments and your emotions and your smaller human nature, your primitive self, your lower consciousness. So we have to that's the gift of these people. They can help you see that. But
They're
the
amazing.
Babylonian, the Trifun guy, he can see the larger picture, which helps you get out of that energy.
Yeah, they're all the political psychic, the good one, just like the good astrologer. It makes us feel safe, and they've been making us feel safe the last few years. But the thing is, like the one that attacked them, again, I say they need to understand about intuition. But we are really in the now moment, and the universe sometimes knows way better than us, and we have to think positively. You know what I mean? See that vision again, like Angela. When Angela was sick, I had to see her. There's a different vibe. Like it's a knowing versus I think it's a wishful thinking, like a knowing of seeing the result of having democracy or at least freedom for here in the world. It doesn't have to be the word democracy, but where we don't have dictatorship, where whatever term that's used for every in the U.S. and around the world, because what happened in the U.S. can affect the world. So, you know,
Can I share
great
something
taste.
about Kamala?
Yeah,
Kamala.
awesome.
So the last few days, I've been getting up because I had a funky couple of weeks since
Uh huh.
July 7. We had a special event here, and it brought up some of my negative stuff to clear out, and a lot of anger and stuff. And then I watched some of the TikTok stuff where she's like, "Yeah, jamming out, yeah," and she's just, and I thought of, do you know like Elaine from Seinfeld, how she was in
Yes,
bed?
yes.
And Elaine has that kooky dance on
Right.
Seinfeld, and I just started laughing uncontrollably, and I thought, oh my God, everybody's saying, tone down, Kamala, you're too weird, you're too goofball, you're too like, so like, you're so frivolous. And I'm like, hell no, man, she's making me like feel like, yeah,
I
did you
know
ever
the new energy
fall from a
making me.
coconut tree? I'm gonna get down and jam out, man. And I just started laughing, thinking, what a great reality. We had a dancing president
Oh,
for the world, one of the world leaders. And I just started laughing, thinking, because I can't get the image out of my head now. I thought, what a great image to have, like a president
it's
who can.
funny because the former guy is making. He can't really mock her from many things. He's been calling her the laughing. It's not so bad to be known as that, but he'll come up with like different names too. Um,
I know,
but
but it makes me laugh. I was, because I saw that criticism
it's
stuff too, and then I
refreshing. It's
went, but I'm still
refreshing.
laughing. I'm
It's
still laughing.
refreshing. It's a really good, refreshing energy.
And I feel like that now consciousness is that it's like when I was in hospital, I was not in a good state.
You
And
were
when
not doing that dance while you were like,
they were telling me to write a gratitude journal, my teachers from India called my friend and said, tell Angela this. And I'm sitting there like really angry and upset and not in a good state. And I had to write gratitude and like, yeah, I'm really happy about blah, blah. And then I saw the video of Kamala jamming out and I thought, oh my God, this is like me in hospital. They were trying to make me laugh and make me feel good feelings.
and you know what's great? There's more talk about her versus the former guy. Even with a brilliant uh, Joe Biden is, people kept focusing on the former guy. Now it's like people really, it's like she Rick rolled. Rick rolled, that term.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just very refreshing.
Took
And
me a
not
while
only
to
that,
get
it's
that.
going to help
That's a
other
Rick
world.
Astley thing. Yeah.
But
You
she's
Rick
been
rolled.
working with Biden. I mean, she's been doing other things even before him. So she's in touch with those other world leaders. So everybody's gonna put their spin onto each other. I don't know. It's just amazing. I would not, if you told me that she was gonna come now a few days before, I would have been like, no way. No, Biden had to say, going back with the 9 of Wands, going against the now consciousness. You know what I mean? Versus being that sixth of cup, being that child who's living in the moment. Uh, so, all right, what'd she say? Fatima agrees with you. She loved people with sense of humor. It's good for the soul. And she said other things, but we're gonna just focus on the dancing. That's pretty hilarious.
Stephen, I can't help it, but I don't understand. I'm in the now. There is no spoon. That's my adage. Help me. What does that mean? There is no spoon. I just got rickrolled, by the way. I had to ask my drumming band, what does rickrolled mean?
You got Rick Roll by Kamala dancing, just to make you brighten you up a little bit.
Never gonna give you up. Never gonna need enough.
You look great.
Desert you.
Well, apparently, Stephen. I mean, we have to keep trying, but there's a lot of new voters that never donated, that are donating. She got 100 million one day or something. So, but we have to keep going because that former guy didn't.
And one of the things the political psychics have been really good about is saying, don't watch the news and get trapped in that psychic energy. It's all blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
Because it's not real.
I don't follow. Yeah, I've just been following Mighty Tush and those type of people. Do not try and bend a spoon. That's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth. There's no spoon.
Ooh.
Well, why didn't he say that to begin with? Do not try. Let's see what that looks like in a card. Do not try and bend a spoon.
Yeah.
Possible. Instead, only try to realize the truth. There is no spoon. That's like an illusion?
Are you talking about like Uri Geller? Uri Geller was the guy that used to use that ESP where you bend material.
You can make this up.
The illusion of the moon.
People in their lunacy. The Matrix.
The Matrix.
It feels like the Matrix, right? It makes that
so
up.
Like that now consciousness that's really demonstrated by Neo, like in the now he's becoming the Matrix and he's just in the flow. So
yeah,
that's the now consciousness that when we're judging, basically summary of the whole video from my end, and when you're judging and criticizing, you're not in the now. So what do you want? Do you want to be in the now, or do you want to be judging and criticizing and unhappy?
And
do you want to be?
We could be preventing, not on purpose, but our control what we think, like the 9 of Wands, creating that wall. We're not breaking down the wall for other possibility. What I told you, I feel like it would help for you to listen to your intuition, even though now I see what it was about, because then you will understand how energy works. So you don't even have to be a psychic, just understand how energy works. Here is the Hierophant, which is connecting with the universe, bonding with the divine, which I feel like it is. But whatever that means for you, some of you would benefit bonding with your divine. I know I would. It's a continual journey. Even Biden, like I feel like he was not going to give up, and people think he got pushed out, but eventually he saw that it's not about him; it's about the country, and thankfully it's working out. So even though we're like for me, I was upset and all that, I quickly felt comforted seeing like how the energy shifted and bringing new vitality. The young people are excited because a lot of young people were not for Biden. So, if I were wanting the way I want it, I could have prevented that opening. So, but I'm still going to do video on Joe Biden in the next few weeks because he's still president until the next. So we'll continue with that because a lot of people focus on the former guy. So why do I need to do that? I'll just focus on Joe Biden and Kamala. So I hope, let us know what you thought. And remember, you're intuitive. It's happening anyway. The doctors are not sitting there and go, I'm intuitive. They're just part of our nature. And also, divine could be utilizing them. 6 months left for Joe, right? I am praying that she wins. Yeah, I feel like we're going through a huge humanity crisis, and I feel like the world is now supporting Kamala. Kamala. By the way, her name means lotus. And
No way.
Lakshma. Yeah. So she's really not just black, she's brown, if we're going to get technical, because she's South Asian, which I never understood. I didn't realize part of Asia. India.
Yeah, big time.
The
India and China are like two parts.
Yeah, but it's so funny. I'm like, she's South Asian American. It's just, yeah. So she, all of it. Because we already had a black and a white president, even though they focused that he was black. But he really was raised by white people. So he's the perfect blend of the two. But the power that be did not utilize that change. So then she comes along, and she is not only black, she's brown, and she married a white guy, and she's a female. And a lot of people like for her VP to be, what's his name? Pete Buddha, Booba, blah, blah, blah. He's really cool, but he's gay. And they think maybe that might be too much of a push, but he's very conservative looking, very brilliant. He knows 9 languages. But, you don't want to push it too much because you're already pushing the female part. You and I talked about in one video about how our country haven't had female.
Yes, just
prime minister.
Bad. Like even Thatcher. Thatcher was in the 70s in England. Like that's 40 years ago. Come on, guys.
I know, we have to get with it. So, okay, here we go. Before we go, the energy shift will fully manifest once the results come on the election. Nowadays, everyone is mixed.
Thatcher was a dude.
You know what? She had to, because she was really in a man's world.
With a great perm set. Her hair was immaculately done.
But tough. She had to have her masculine. It's not like, who did we cover? She was so feminine. That New England, what's her name that we covered on? From New England.
From Gretchen? No. New England in America or
New Zealand.
Jacinta Ardern.
Yeah, she was very feminine.
Yeah.
But not like prissy, but feminine. But any leader 40 years ago, they had to be a dude. No, just joking.
Dude.
But that very feminine look.
Thatcher was a dude. I think that's great. We should use that, right? She's like, man up.
But she always dressed very feminine. Nowadays you would have a female president being a biker dude.
Yeah.
And you could get away with that. But
Kamala doing that, being a biker dude. Actually, Violetta predicted like someone on a bike, and she says that was Kamala with a traditional biker jacket. But she's like, yeah, I could see her getting down. Like Louise Dreyfus. Move over. Oh, Louise Dreyfus should do a comeback.
She's like the chariot, right?
Oh, that's who should be her VP, Louise Dreyfus. Oh. That's perfect. This is it. Forget the other guys. No, we're going to have Louise Dreyfus.
Doing that dance from Science.
Doing the dance. And Kamala. Oh, my God. I've got to tell somebody. That's brilliant. That's going to be her campaign ad. You want to do the Veep? Are you kidding me? Of course. And then they dance together. Yeah, that's it.
Whew, wow. Alrighty. So let us know what you thought and type it in the comment. And also, if you want to do the online dance, I recommend it for all fitness from very beginner. And you can sit down to stand up, anything. And it's weekly. And I'll put the information below. And what else, Stephen and Fatima? What else should we add?
Louise Dreyfus for vice president.
Now, if that really happened,
we had a reality.
We're really in a now consciousness, but anyway.
Now consciousness.
Take care. Oh, let me put a ending to it.
Thanks, Sylvia.